Hello family, my name is Chris, I am your home gamer dad, and I am a huge fan of the Boss Monster-verse, or at least that's what I call it. Whether it be the original Boss Monster, Overboss, Dungeon Card, it doesn't matter. Brotherwise Games has created this world through the Boss Monster franchise that comes in all different varieties, all different flavors, and right now on Kickstarter, or at least at the point when this video goes up, and probably for the next 2 weeks or so, you'll be able to find the next generation, the level up, if you will, for the original Boss Monsters. I am excited because they added a bunch of new things and just taken what is already there and making it better. Million reasons why I backed Super Boss Monster from Brotherwise Games. This is what started it all. This box right here started the entire thing for Boss Monsters and basically put Brotherwise Games on the map. And the game itself is very simple. You have a hand of cards, you draft one every turn, you put one down every turn to build out your dungeon, luring in heroes for them to basically become unalived as they go through it, and you collect their souls. Without even knowing what makes this different than the original one, I was sold immediately because, come on, you have the box art for Super Boss Monsters, and then you have Super Metroid. Come on, are you kidding me? This is just one of many references and just fun little play off of arts and everything that Brotherwise Games has on all of their cards and everything like that from all the Boss Monsters and whatnot. That is just so much fun to look at and so much like you look at, oh, I know what that is. Oh, that's so cool the way they did it and whatnot. It is amazing. And I am super excited for this new version of Boss Monster. Now, for those of you that have the original, like I have and everything, first and foremost, before I even get into the Kickstarter, all of this that you have here and anything else you have for Boss Monster will work in Super Boss Monster. It is 100% backwards compatible. So you can take all your dungeon tiles in here, all your spells, your bosses or whatever, mix them in with Super Boss Monster, and you are still good to go. You have a massive collection of a game that has millions of possibilities to it. And what's even better about Super Boss Monster is that they have finally implemented a solo variant to the game, which the moment I hit that, it's like, shut up and take my money. Seriously, that is one of my big check marks when it comes to backing games. So why don't we head on over to the Kickstarter page? We'll go on through the list of things so you can see what's available, what the pledges are, the unlockables, things along that ways. And then you yourself can let me know your opinion of what you think about Super Boss Monster. Is this something you're interested in? Is this something you'd like to see me play a little bit more when it comes out? I believe it's on Tabletop Simulator, or at least the last time I checked, I think it was. So maybe I should start playing something like that for you guys to give a little more of a background on it. I'm not too sure. I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below about it. But otherwise let's head on over to the Kickstarter page. And here we are, Super Boss Monster, the dungeon building card game. And that's exactly what it is. Anybody out there that's not familiar with Boss Monster, you are literally doing just that. You have a series of cards that you're going to be playing over the course of several rounds, and each turn you will be playing one dungeon card down in front of you, and these dungeon cards do various things like causing damage or activating other effects or abilities or things along that ways. And then also you can upgrade those particular areas of your dungeons as well to do more damage, to do more things along that ways. There are hundreds of cards within this game, and they each do something different. Now, there are duplicates and everything within it as well, but what's also really cool about the duplicates from, at least what I know from the original Boss Monster, is that even though I have like 2 or 3 of the same room, the art is slightly different for each card. And I think that's a fantastic little touch for it, just to give it a little bit more originality for every time you make a dungeon. You think you see a card that you haven't seen before, even though you recognize the ability of it, but it's just cool the way that it looks. The boss monster that you choose sits down over here. They will be able to activate one of their powers at one point, but generally that is the original game. This right here, these sets of cards, was pretty much all there was to it. It was your play area here. There was a central area for a, I don't think there was a market in the original, but there definitely was heroes that appeared, and you needed to lure them into the dungeon with various artifacts and symbols in order to deal their damage and steal their souls. This entire point right here, the new town board, as it shows there, is part of Super Boss Monster, and it takes the original concept of the game and enhances it, which is what I really feel you need whenever you come out with a sequel of sorts to a game. you have these similar concepts, the similar mechanics, things that people are used to, that they like seeing, that they know how to play, and you just enhance it. You maybe add a few new mechanics, but it's nothing too crazy, nothing too off the wall, but it makes you want more. It's like, oh, I got it. This is amazing. This fits in perfectly. I get it. What else you got? The bigger, badder box. That's what you got. I am now just a sucker for big boxes for my games that have like a bunch of expansions. And I get it. It's like a double-edged sword to something like that, because if they're releasing a box like huge that's supposed to be able to hold everything that Boss Monster has, you kind of get an idea that maybe that's the end of the line. Like with Everdell, they did that, where once you got the big box of biz stuff or whatever it's called, that was it. Everything fit in Everdell. There was no longer any expansions for Everdell. Boom, that's it. The Wingspan nesting box has slots and cards for upcoming expansions. So, you know, there's more stuff coming, but you see how much is coming. And then after that, is there going to be anything else or whatnot? So unfortunately, I feel like the bigger, badder box kind of falls into that little placeholder there where, wow, everything fits in here. Look at that. It's great. I have it all in one shot. Is there going to be anything more Boss Monster? I don't know, because there's really not that much room in here, but I'm okay with it regardless of anything, because everything is nicely fit. Like right now, my Boss Monster holds everything for my 2 expansions in there, and it's kind of like really, really packed together. There's a lot sticking up here, and I'm missing so much from the original Boss Monster that I would love just having it in one consolidated box. So bigger, badder box is a great idea. I love it. Yes, there's a little bit more of a, is this really the end idea? But I think they have a plan. I would like to say that Brotherwise has a plan, because this is their baby. This is their like main flagship, you know, IP and whatnot. So they always got a plan for something. And then the biggest thing that really sold me on this, the solo mode. So you take that town board, you flip it over for the solo mode portion of the game, and it runs a little bit differently than, you know, obviously 2 to 4 player modes. I've seen a few playthroughs of this already. I've watched it in action. And again, I believe it's on Tabletop Simulator. So if I can get onto there and check it out and play it for myself, I'll know for sure. But I get where it's coming from. I get the idea. I could even probably kind of do a pseudo solo mode with this right here, and, you know, just kind of work from it, from the rules that I got from watching these videos. Now, there are things from Super Boss Monster that are not in the originals, and that would be the Minions, which is kind of like a new mechanic to it. But first things first, let's keep going down. Actually, no, we're going to learn about it right here. First, we have your overview. You have your set of cards and spells in your hand. You play a dungeon piece every turn, and then you have spells that can be played at different parts during the various phases, whether it be a building phase when you're building your dungeon, or the action phase when the heroes are running through your dungeon. You play these spells and different things happen and whatnot. Command your minion. This is a new mechanic for Super Boss Monster. On the town board, you're going to see that each one of the new locations on the bottom have a few different icons to it that you can use. When you drop down your minion as part of the initial phase before the heroes come in and everything, I believe you do this even before you build anything, when you drop down your minion, you're then able to activate one of these abilities. So putting this minion here means that you have an additional sword artifact for that round. And what the artifacts do is they attract various heroes. So if a fighter walks into your town, they may want to find a dungeon that offers them swords. This is what you would need. You would put the minion down, you would throw up a sword, and then that would bring in the hero. The dungeon pieces you put down also have artifacts attached to them, but maybe you don't have any swords or not enough swords, so you use the minion to do that. Otherwise, there are other things, like right here, I believe this is draw a spell card. One of them is like draw 2 dungeon tiles and put 2 back or something along that way. So there are other ways of manipulating your hand as well that you can use the minions for every round. You get 1 per round, you get 1 chance to do it. If a hero happens to cover a building, which happens if there's too many heroes in the town, then all you can do is drop your minion on one of these bottom spots here. In a 2 to 4 player mode, you are sending that hero to an opponent's dungeon, doesn't matter what it is, and that hero then has +2 health. In solo mode, you immediately pull that hero to your dungeon. So it's 2 different strategies for the same mechanic, depending on if you're playing solo or 2 to 4 player. There you go. See, luring heroes out of town. So the heroes are going to start moving their way in. You draw them out, and they would go to the various spots in the town itself. If there's no more room for them to fit, or if they're matching artifact that they're looking for is part of one of the buildings down here. And each one of the buildings is associated with one of the four. Fighter, which is the sword, spell casting, which is the book, thievery, which is the money bag, and then like holy abilities, which is the ankh. There is the tavern as well. If a hero is in the tavern, they actually lose health. But in solo mode, if a hero ever goes to the tavern, you immediately end the game. It is done right there and there. You then count up your souls and see what your score happens to be. So that's the basic overview of how to play. There's a whole lot more involved in it because each one of the cards and each one of the bosses do something different, and there's all these different combinations that you can do. Now, does that sound interesting to you, or have you already been interested and you're just kind of curious on what it is that's being offered in the Kickstarter? Let's take a look at the pledges. First, you have the Minion pledge, which is your basic one. $30 for Super Boss Monster. That's it. You get the game, you get the cards, you get the mat, you get all that stuff. Awesome. 8 bosses, heart tokens, spell tokens. It's probably cardboard tokens, by the way. Room deck, hero deck, 4 minions, which they say meeples. I don't know how detailed they are. They look like they're pretty detailed. They look like little black mages and whatnot, which is awesome. And then Kickstarter promo pack, which we'll go into that a little bit further when we get down to the stretch goals. For 15 bucks more, you get the boss version of Super Boss Monster, or boss style pledge, deluxe edition. So everything from up here, plus the neoprene town mat and 32 wooden heart meeples. So this is like just upgrading your game of sorts. Next, you have the Super Boss Big Box and Deluxe Edition. This is actually what I have. I have this one currently pre-ordered right now, or backed, I guess, whatever, for this campaign. I may jump it up to the next level. I'm not too sure yet, but I mean, that's the theme of it all, right? With this, you get everything from everything beforehand. The big box, which is, yes, I can't wait. Kind of why I got this one. Exclusive card sets, including 5 to 6 player cards. So now the game goes from 2 to 4 players, which is the original Boss Monster, to Super Boss Monster, 1 to 6 players. That is that is crazy. I would love to see this game at that high of a player count because it'd just get chaotic. Moving along, you have the final boss pledge, which I assume based off of the color change, because you have white, 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 and then this like golden color here, and even white for a little bit further down. This is kind of like your main one that you have to focus on. This is the one that Brotherwise Games is telling you, this is your best deal. This is your best offer. If you're going to pledge anything, this is probably the one to do it. The only reason I haven't done it yet is because I don't mind neoprene mats. I am not super attached to them, but they are nice. I have plenty in my collections from other board games and things along that ways. Neoprene mats have a wonderful role within the games, and they fit. They are made to specifically fit inside of the big box. So if you have them, they will roll up and everything will go together, because I've had campaigns where the neoprene mats are kind of like their own thing, or they're off to the side, or you need a separate box or separate storage for them. These can actually fit within the big box. Now, keep in mind also, you're only getting 4. Yes, you have a 5 to 6 player expansion, so long as you get this or above. Even the one above it had, the Super Boss had 5 to 6 player. You do not get a 5 to 6 player mat right now. There's a lot of questions and a lot of interest that I'm seeing in the comment section for this Kickstarter that maybe at some point during the campaign, Brotherwise Games will be like, you know what? Yeah, sure. You can have a 5 to 6 player mat. They may have you buy it separately. It may be included in a stretch goal. That's still kind of unknown right now, because at the point of this recording, there's still about 14 days left of the campaign, which 2 weeks doesn't sound like a lot, but these guys reveal a lot every day, and they kind of talk about things so far in the future in such vague forms that you can't help but be excited to wonder what's going to show up next. And then there's this pledge, the Ultimate Starter Pledge, where you basically get the entire Boss Monster collection. Boss Monster, not Overboss, not Overboss Duels, not Dungeon Cart. Those are within the same world of Boss Monster, as I mentioned, but they are their own separate games, very different mechanics. None of that works within Boss Monster, but the original Boss Monster, and as you can see right here in the picture, so you have the original Boss Monster, you have Boss Monster Next Level, those are the 2 that I have, Rise of the Mini Bosses, which I do not have and I would really like to get, and then a lot of the little expansions right here. All of that, plus Super Boss Monster, plus the big box would be within this pledge, and again, all of this, plus the neoprene mats, will fit within the big box, the big boss box or whatever. I forget what it is that they call it. But yeah, so that's like, if you have absolutely nothing, if you have no boss monster things whatsoever, and you are really, 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 really interested, right there, you get everything in boom, one shot. If I didn't have boss monster already, that probably would have been what I got. But I think what I'm going to do is once the pledge manager comes up, because Brotherwise Games is going to offer, these for sale once the campaign is over. Even if you put $1 down for this, because you're not really quite sure what it is you want to do or anything like that, putting $1 down will still grant you access to the pledge manager once they open it up, and then you can add and remove whatever you want from there. I will probably add at least maybe 1 or 2 of the little expansions. I would like to have the mini boss one, but still kind of on the fence about how much I really want to spend on this because I have a very limited budget this year. So I take it back. At the time of this recording, there's 15 days left, but it's like less than that of sorts, like 14 days, X amount of hours, whatever it is, however Kickstarter does the countdown. And about $389,000 raised for it so far. There's been a ton of stretch goals that have been unlocked so far. I'm going to tell you right now, it's at 390, I'd say, give or take. It's going to easily pass 650 by the time this is over. At least that's my prediction for it. I know that there's apps and websites or whatever that show like various ways that the Kickstarter should end, what it's predicting, what it's on track to do, things along that ways. There are people out there that are way better at that type of analysis than I am. I'm just going from my prediction and what I've seen so far. But regardless of anything, so far we've gotten a bunch of different things that have been unlocked. Right now we have 2 new bosses from here because it got 250 likes on BGG. I gave one of those. Thank you very much. $50,000 raise, I should say. Super Boss Monster will come with the deadly new Thief Boss, a new boss, and it looks like a new trap room. Upgrade for the first player marker, so that's really cool. Awesome crown that I believe King Croak has on his head. Mini but mighty. 2 new cards, make it easier to combine. Super Boss Monster with Rise of the Mini Bosses. So Rise of the Mini Boss had a special new mechanic to it where you could earn coins through the course of the game. You would then spend those coins in order to either activate certain abilities or to raise the power of your mini bosses, things along that ways, or your main bosses as well. So another reason why I want that expansion, because I think that's a really cool addition and just another thing to think about while you're playing the game. Moving along, we have the loot tokens. I think I kept calling these artifacts. It's loot. Is that what they're actually technically called? Treasure tokens, wooden treasure tokens. I have a million different names for these, but it's basically the 5 different symbols that you would put inside of your dungeon in order to lure specific heroes to your dungeon. And these are apparently 5 wooden tokens now for these, rather than, I guess, they would be cardboard. We got new, looks like boss monster rooms opened up, a home for your meeple. So it's like you use your minion on your turn, and then as soon as you use it and finish the minion phase, the minion comes back to your dungeon or to your lair or whatever it is. So now you have a little summoning circle for them to pop in and out from. Very fun storytelling right there. More stuff right here. Looks like a spell card, 2 spell cards. And then the next one at 400,000, beautification with thicker chipboard, a custom insert, and a spot UV card. Wow, look at this. Going to be as gorgeous as Queen Croak. That is really cool. So it's like a full upgrade to the box and things along that ways. So as of this recording, there's only been 1 update from Brotherwise Games, and that's fine. They're going to have plenty of time in order to get us all different types of information and whatnot coming out throughout the course of this campaign, plus post-campaign, things along that ways. But this is actually very important to know going into this, because this is what actually they did during Dungeon Card as well. Depending on what level pledge you have, will actually earn you not so much different Kickstarter exclusives, but more Kickstarter exclusives. So the higher of a pledge level you have, the more stuff you're going to get. So for example, Minion and above. So if you have the very base game, which is just the base game for 30 bucks, any Kickstarter stretch goal with this symbol on it, you will get along with your pledge. Boss and above and super boss and above. So again, I'm at super boss. That is where I decided to put my money in. Again, I may go up 1 more. I'm not 100% sure yet, but at least I know with super boss and above, anything that they release on the Kickstarter, I'm going to be getting within my package as well, as opposed to if I had any of the lower ones, there might be a few things you miss out on. Now, the thing with missing out on things, Brotherwise have said this, and again, I love it when companies do this. I thank you so much for it. There's incentives to being able to order this through the Kickstarter, to being able to get these exclusive items, but they're never going to be completely unattainable. There are other ways to get it, whether it be through their website or various events, things along that ways, but all of the cards for Super Boss Monster, Boss Monster itself and everything are going to be available at some point down the line. And I actually believe it's in here as well, the same first update. Yeah, so this is where it talks about, at the Pledge Manager, other things that you can add to your pledge to basically make your Boss Monster collection even more complete. Moving on, we have the how to play right here. So if you really want to know how to play all the ins and outs, you can watch Becca Scott teach you how to do this. This is the 2 to 4 player version of the game that she is teaching. And then Brotherwise Games themselves put out a video showing the solo mode in action. She's playing this off of TTS, so at least you can see how that looks like just, on Tabletop Simulator. And again, it's just going to show a great way to play the game. I've seen other people kind of show off the game as well, and that's kind of what sold me. It's very, very simple, very easy, and if you know the rules to Boss Monster already, you'll be right at home with all of it, trust me. The big box, exactly how it all goes in, extension board, 13 new cards within the box itself, and then how everything kind of fits in there. All the cards can fit in, the neoprene mats, all your tokens, things along that ways. A big thing that you have to also remember about the big box here is that they designed this to fit cards that are sleeved. So if you are a sleever and you're going to sleeve all of your cards, like things like over 1,000 cards or something along that way, yes, enough room to hold over 1,000 sleeved cards. I don't know how many cards are within Boss Monster right now, including Super Boss Monster. If it's not 1,000, then that means we do have more coming down the line, which is crossing fingers, hoping and whatnot. But that is awesome that they have made room specifically for sleeved cards because, they just take up just that little bit extra room in a space that, normally wouldn't be able to handle it. So I can't sleeve that many cards. I'm not going to buy that many sleeves, but knowing that they designed that is fantastic because there's a lot of sleevers out there, people that love to, put extra protection onto their cards. Everyone's favorite subject, shipping. I mean, again, depending on where you are in the world, it can get really, really high from what I'm seeing. I'm USA, UK, and China, which, that's really good pricing for those 3 countries and whatnot. Canada and EU is actually really good as well. Australia and New Zealand was better than I thought it would be. The rest kind of jumps up and down and whatnot. I don't know what languages they're going to be translating this game into. A lot of it doesn't need too much translation for what I remember, but then again, it still needs it. But hey, depending on where you are in the world, this is like the extra that you're going to have to pay for it. And then again, it is broken down based on what pledge you are doing. This is me right there for, the extra money to go to Final Boss and then $2 shipping. Really just like, do I want to do it? Do I not want to do it? And I'm sitting here still going back and forth as I'm talking to you guys. And lastly, just some final notes for the Kickstarter. They talk about the add-ons here that's going to be available after the campaign, card sleeves, tokens, playmats, all Boss Monster expansion, hard to find Boss Monster promo packs. Great, just take more of my money. Awesome. And then exclusive reprints of rare cards. And I actually believe they said that they may have like Overboss duels in it, things along that ways. You probably won't see Dungeon Cart because it's not out yet. It's not, I think it's still in production phase, so it's not even on the ship on the way over, but at least Overboss and Overboss duels, I think, are going to be part of this add-ons ability after, the Backer Kit Pledge Master comes out once the campaign is done. And then Why Back Now, early access. You get, what is it? Backers, we'll have first save, Kickstarter content. The Kickstarter pack was made especially for this campaign. Big box is so large, might not widely be carried in stores. So just kind of being able to get your hand on things within the Boss Monster universe that you may not be able to get otherwise. And then a better product. So all of these things are kind of like the reason to back right now, to maybe not wait so long for this to come out in the stores. But that's all up to you. It's completely your opinion. And of course, however it is that you wish to choose if you want to back this project or not. But with all that said, thank you guys again for checking out Super Boss Monster with me. I'm super excited for it. I hope my enthusiasm really did rub off on you in terms of like what it is that I'm excited for, what it is that I'm looking forward to for this game. There's over 4,000 backers on it right now, and that's just going to keep going up really, really crazy over the next few weeks, especially near the end, once you see mostly what all the stretch goals are or what all the extra things are going to be a part of this and whatnot. If you're still on the fence about it and whatnot, definitely take a look at it, save it, watch it every so often. Maybe put $1 down for it so you can hit the pledge manager later if you want. Otherwise, I still want to know all of your opinions down in the comment section below. Have you seen the solo mode playthrough and what do you think about it? I hear a lot of people say that it's very simple and very basic and whatnot. It's the game. It's Boss Monster. It's this, but able to be played first person. They're not changing the rules around too much, just more or less a win-loss scenario for a single player. So honestly, if you like Boss Monster, you'll love Super Boss Monster, and the solo mode will fit very perfectly down in front of you. At least that's how I look at it. It's just, it all just flows one to the other, but I want to know what you guys have to say. I want to hear your opinions and whatnot. And of course, if you back this game, what was your pledge that you did, and what are you most looking forward to when you finally get the game? I am hoping to cover more Boss Monster stuff going forward on this channel. I mean, I have Overboss, which I love and has a great campaign mode to it. I got Duels, not so much for the two-player aspect, but mostly to get all of the additional locations from that. It adds another 8 or 9 locations to the mix, which is fantastic. Dungeon Cart, which is coming out. I can't wait to give that a try and see how that works. And then, of course, the solo mode to this game coming out as well, that I would love to show you guys, in more detail and play a little bit and, just bring us all together and whatnot. So that means in order not to miss any future Boss Monster action or any other fun videos I happen to put out for you to enjoy, be sure you are subscribed to the Home Gamer Dad. If you wish to support the channel even further, there are ways to do that down in the description section below. But in all honesty, your view, your share, your like, your comments, your subscription, your, just backing of the channel is as equally as important and appreciative to me as it would be backing any of the games that I showed off in the series of Why I Backed. You guys have been amazing. Thank you again. Take care of yourselves and each other. We are family forever, gaming together, building our dungeons, taking down the heroes, sucking in their souls, and showing that we are the one true boss monster to rule them all. You guys have been amazing, and I will see you in the next one. Later, everyone.